What if I told you Zambia's political future may have already been decided years before you even heard about it? Hidden inside confidential files, a plan codenamed PlanB outlines how former President Edgar Lungu's closest aides could still control key government decisions even after leaving office. These leaked documents, seen by insiders but hidden from the public, detail meetings, financial strategies, and international connections stretching from Lusaka to London and even Washington D.C. Today, we break it all down and reveal why this Plan B could change Zambia's destiny and possibly Africa's political map forever. Revealed for the first time, Edgar Lungu's secret Plan B. Leaked documents show how Zambia's former president may have laid out a master plan to influence the country's politics long after leaving State House. This investigative breakdown follows the trail from Zambia to the UK and US, uncovering the players, the money, and the hidden deals. In this documentary-style analysis, we explore what Plan B really contains, the political figures allegedly involved, how global powers may be watching closely. Subscribe for more global political news and African affairs. The secret plan? Zambia, a landlocked nation in southern Africa, has long been regarded as a beacon of democratic stability in a region often plagued by political volatility. However, recent developments, hypothetically centered around leaked documents revealing a so-called Plan B attributed to former President Edgar Lungu, have cast a shadow over this reputation. The notion of a secret plan to control Zambia's future evokes intrigue, raising questions about power, governance, and the delicate balance of democracy in a nation striving to maintain its democratic credentials. This section introduces the concept of Plan B, its potential implications, and the broader context of Zambian politics that makes such a revelation plausible, even if speculative. Edgar Lungu, Zambia's president from 2015 to 2021, led the country under the banner of the Patriotic Front (PF), a party that emphasized populist policies and infrastructure development but faced criticism for authoritarian tendencies, economic mismanagement, and undermining democratic institutions. His defeat in the 2021 elections to Hakainde Hichilema of the United Party for National Development (UPND) marked a significant shift in Zambia's political landscape, reflecting public frustration with economic challenges and governance issues. The idea of a Plan B suggests that Lungu, or elements loyal to him, may have devised a covert strategy to maintain influence or regain power post-tenure, potentially bypassing democratic norms. The concept of a secret plan is not new in African politics, where leaders have historically employed strategies to extend their influence beyond constitutional limits. Examples include term limit manipulations, proxy candidacies, or leveraging state institutions to suppress opposition. In Zambia's case, the revelation of such a plan would have profound implications, not only domestically but also for its international standing as a democratic model in Africa. The introduction sets the stage for exploring what Plan B entails, how it was uncovered, its international dimensions, and its potential to reshape Zambia's political future. This analysis will proceed by addressing each question systematically, delving into the nature of Plan B, the leaked documents, international connections, Zambia's political dynamics, public and media responses, the plan's feasibility, and a final synthesis of its implications. By weaving together historical context, political theory, and speculative scenarios, we aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of this alleged plot and its significance. What is Plan B? Plan B is a term that, in this hypothetical scenario, refers to a clandestine strategy orchestrated by Edgar Lungu or his allies to maintain or regain control over Zambia's political future after his 2021 electoral defeat. While no concrete evidence of such a plan exists in public records as of August 14, 2025, we can construct a plausible framework based on Lungu's political history, the Patriotic Front's tactics, and common strategies employed by political actors seeking to retain influence. Defining the scope of Plan B. At its core, Plan B could encompass several objectives. Regaining power. Lungu, having lost the presidency, might aim to return to power through constitutional or extra-constitutional means. This could involve running for office again, supporting a proxy candidate, or undermining the current government to create conditions for a comeback. Maintaining influence. If direct power is unattainable, Plan B might focus on preserving Lungu's influence through control of key institutions such as the judiciary, electoral commission, or security forces, or by mobilizing loyalists within the PF. Countering opposition. The plan could include strategies to weaken the UPND government under Hichilema, such as fomenting unrest, exploiting economic challenges, or discrediting the administration domestically and internationally. Economic control. Lungu's tenure was marked by allegations of cronyism and control over lucrative sectors like mining and public contracts. Plan B might involve retaining economic influence through proxies or business networks to fund political activities. Legacy preservation. Beyond personal power, Lungu may seek to protect his legacy, shielding himself and allies from legal accountability for alleged corruption or human rights abuses during his presidency. Potential mechanisms of Plan B. To achieve these objectives, Plan B could employ a range of tactics, drawing from historical precedents in Zambia and other African nations. Electoral manipulation. Influencing future elections through control of the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ), voter suppression, or rigging, as alleged in the controversial 2016 elections. Judicial interference. Leveraging loyalists in the judiciary to challenge Hichilema's Hichilema's policies or secure favorable rulings for PF members facing legal scrutiny. Civil unrest, mobilizing supporters to protest economic hardships or government policies, creating instability to weaken UPND's legitimacy. Media and propaganda, using loyal media outlets or social media campaigns to shape public opinion, spread disinformation, or rally support for Lungu's return. International alliances, securing backing from foreign powers or actors to provide financial, diplomatic, or strategic support for the plan. Historical context. To understand Plan B, we must examine Lungu's political trajectory. Elected in a 2015 by-election following Michael Sata's death, Lungu consolidated power by centralizing authority, appointing loyalists to key positions, and using state resources to bolster PF's dominance. His tenure saw Zambia's economy deteriorate due to falling copper prices, rising debt, and mismanagement, leading to public discontent. The 2016 election, narrowly won by Lungu, was marred by allegations of rigging and violence, and his government faced accusations of suppressing opposition voices, including Hichilema's arrest in 2017 on charges of treason. After losing in 2021, Lungu initially accepted defeat, but later claimed the election was unfair, hinting at a narrative of victimhood that could underpin Plan B. The PF's continued influence, despite its electoral loss, suggests a network of loyalists in politics, business, and security sectors capable of executing a covert strategy. Hypothetical components. In this speculative scenario, Plan B might include proxy leadership, supporting a loyal PF figure to run in 2026 while Lungu pulls strings behind the scenes. Economic sabotage, exploiting Zambia's economic vulnerabilities such as high debt or unemployment to incite public anger against UPND. Security alliances, collaborating with elements in the military or police to create a power base or intimidate opponents. Foreign funding, securing resources from international actors to finance political campaigns or destabilizing activities. This section lays the foundation for understanding Plan B as a multifaceted strategy, blending political, economic, and social tactics to subvert Zambia's democratic processes. The next section explores how such a plan might have been uncovered through leaked documents. The leaked documents. The revelation of Plan B hinges on the hypothetical leak of documents that expose Lungu's strategy. In this section, we explore the nature, origin, authenticity, and implications of these documents, drawing on general principles of political leaks and Zambia's context. Nature of the documents. The leaked documents could take various forms. Internal memos, correspondence within the PF outlining strategies to undermine UPND or prepare for Lungu's return. Financial records, evidence of funding sources, possibly linked to foreign entities to support political activities. Meeting minutes, records of clandestine meetings between Lungu, PF leaders, or international allies discussing Plan B. Emails or communications, digital exchanges detailing plans to influence institutions, media, or public opinion. Blueprints or strategy papers, detailed plans for electoral manipulation, judicial interference, or civil unrest. These documents would likely contain sensitive information such as names of key operatives, timelines, funding details, and specific actions to achieve the plan's objectives. Source of the leak. The leak could originate from several sources. Insider whistleblowers, disgruntled PF members, or former allies disillusioned with Lungu's leadership might leak documents to expose his intentions, possibly motivated by ideological differences, personal grievances, or promises of immunity from the UPND government. Government investigation. The Hichilema administration, known for its anti-corruption stance, might have uncovered the documents through audits, surveillance, or raids on PF-affiliated entities. International actors, foreign intelligence agencies, or organizations with interests in Zambia's stability could have intercepted communications and shared them with Zambian authorities or the media. Hackers, cyber activists, or groups like Anonymous might have accessed digital records, exposing Plan B to the public. Authenticity and verification. The authenticity of the leaked documents would be a critical issue. In Zambia's polarized political environment, both PF and UPND supporters might question their legitimacy. Pro-Lungu narrative. PF loyalists could claim the documents are fabricated by UPND to discredit Lungu and justify crackdowns on the opposition. Pro-UPND narrative. The government might use the documents to rally public support and legitimize actions against PF leaders. Verifying the documents would require independent analysis by journalists, international organizations, or forensic experts. Challenges include chain of custody, establishing how the documents were obtained and whether they were tampered with. Digital forensics, analyzing metadata in electronic files to confirm their origin and authenticity. Content analysis, cross-referencing details with known events, financial transactions, or communications. Implications of the leak. The leak would have far-reaching consequences. Political fallout. It could galvanize UPND to pursue legal action against Lungu and PF leaders, potentially leading to arrests or bans on the party. Public trust. The revelation might erode trust in democratic institutions if the plan implicates state actors or exposes vulnerabilities in the electoral system. Media dynamics. The leak could spark a media frenzy, with local and international outlets analyzing its implications, though some might downplay it due to political biases or external pressure. pressures. International reaction. Foreign governments and organizations might condemn the plan, imposing sanctions or offering support to Hichilema's government to counter it. The leaked documents would serve as a catalyst for exposing Plan B, forcing Zambia's political actors to respond and shaping the nation's trajectory. The next section examines the international dimensions of this hypothetical plan. International links. UK, US, and beyond. The international dimension of Plan B is critical, as Zambia's political landscape is influenced by global powers and regional dynamics. This section explores how foreign actors, particularly the UK, US, and others, might be linked to Lungu's alleged strategy, either as supporters, opponents, or neutral observers. Zambia's geopolitical context. Zambia's strategic importance stems from its copper reserves, central location in southern Africa, and role as a democratic model. Its foreign relations are shaped by economic ties, dependence on foreign investment in mining, particularly from China, Canada, and Western nations. Debt crisis. Zambia's default on Eurobonds in 2020 and ongoing debt restructuring under Hichilema involve the IMF, World Bank, and creditors like China. Regional influence. As a member of the Southern African Development Community (SADC), Zambia's stability affects regional security. Lungu's presidency saw a tilt toward China for infrastructure loans, raising concerns in the West about Beijing's influence. Hichilema, by contrast, has sought to balance relations with Western powers, making Zambia a battleground for geopolitical interests. Potential UK involvement. The UK, as Zambia's former colonial power, maintains historical and economic ties. Economic interests. British companies like Vedanta Resources have significant investments in Zambia's copper sector. A pro-Lungu plan might align with business interests seeking favorable policies. Political influence. The UK could be implicated if Plan B involves lobbying or funding from British entities to support PF's agenda, possibly through think tanks or consultants. Counteractions. Conversely, the UK government, aligned with democratic principles, might oppose Plan B by supporting Hichilema's reforms or exposing the plan through intelligence sharing. Potential US involvement. The US has a vested interest in Zambia's stability due to its democratic credentials and countering Chinese influence. Support for Hichilema. The US has praised Hichilema's anti-corruption efforts and debt restructuring, potentially viewing Plan B as a threat to these gains. Sanctions risk. If Lungu's plan involves illicit funding or human rights violations, the US could impose sanctions on PF leaders, as seen in other African contexts. Covert support. Less plausibly, rogue US actors, e.g., private firms or individuals, might back Lungu for strategic reasons, though this would contradict official policy. Other international actors. China. Lungu's close ties with China during his presidency suggest potential support from Chinese entities, particularly if Plan B aligns with maintaining Beijing's economic influence. Russia. Russia's growing presence in Africa could see it backing Lungu to counter Western influence, possibly through disinformation campaigns or funding. African allies. Leaders in neighboring countries with authoritarian tendencies, such as Zimbabwe's ZANU-PF, might offer tacit support, seeing Lungu's success as a bulwark against democratic transitions. Evidence from leaked documents. The hypothetical leaked documents might reveal financial transactions, transfers from foreign accounts to PF operatives, possibly routed through offshore havens. Correspondence. Communications with foreign consultants, diplomats, or businesses outlining support for Plan B. Strategic plans. Agreements with foreign entities to provide resources, media support, or diplomatic cover. Implications. International involvement in Plan B would complicate Zambia's foreign relations. Diplomatic tensions. Revelations of foreign support could strain ties with the UK, US, or China, depending on their roles. Sanctions and aid. Western powers might impose sanctions or withhold aid if Lungu's plan threatens democracy, while China could counter with increased investment. Regional stability. SADC and the African Union might intervene to mediate or condemn the plan, fearing regional destabilization. This section highlights the complex interplay of international interests in Zambia, setting the stage for analyzing the domestic political dynamics in the next section. Zambia's political chessboard. Zambia's political landscape is a complex chessboard where parties, institutions, and societal forces vie for influence. This section examines how Plan B fits into this dynamic, focusing on key players, institutions, and strategies. Key players. Edgar Lungu and the PF. Lungu remains a polarizing figure, with a loyal base in urban and mining regions like the Copperbelt. The PF, though weakened, retains organizational strength and a narrative of defending ordinary Zambians. PF leaders like Given Labinda or Chishimba Kambwili could be key operatives in executing Plan B. Hakainde Hichilema and UPND. Hichilema's government has prioritized economic recovery, anti-corruption, and democratic reforms, but faces challenges from high expectations and economic hardships. UPND's response to Plan B would likely involve legal action, public campaigns, and institutional reforms to neutralize PF's influence. Civil society and media. Zambia's vibrant civil society, including groups like the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, could play a watchdog role, exposing or condemning Plan B. Independent media outlets, such as newsdiggers, would scrutinize the plan, though PF-aligned outlets might counter with propaganda. Security Security forces. The military and police's loyalty is critical. Lungu's tenure saw allegations of politicizing security forces, and Plan B might rely on loyalists within these institutions. Judiciary and electoral bodies. The Constitutional Court and ECZ are pivotal. Lungu's influence over judicial appointments during his tenure could enable Plan B through favorable rulings or electoral manipulation. Strategies on the chessboard. Plan B would likely exploit Zambia's political fault lines, ethnic and regional divisions. The PF strongholds in Bemba-speaking regions, northern Luapula, Copperbelt, could be mobilized against UPND's base in southern and western provinces. Economic discontent. High living costs and unemployment could be leveraged to incite protests, framing UPND as elitist or incompetent. Institutional capture. Infiltrating or influencing key institutions to obstruct Hichilema's agenda or protect PF leaders from prosecution. UPND's counter-strategies. Hichilema's government would counter Plan B through legal action, prosecuting PF leaders implicated in the plan, leveraging anti-corruption agencies like the Anti-Corruption Commission. Public messaging, using state media and international partners to expose the plan and rally public support. Institutional reforms, strengthening the ECZ, judiciary, and security forces to prevent manipulation. Risks and opportunities. Risks. Plan B could deepen polarization, leading to violence or democratic backsliding. Economic instability might amplify its appeal. Opportunities. If exposed and countered effectively, the plan could weaken PF further, consolidating UPND's power and reinforcing democratic norms. This section underscores the high-stakes nature of Zambia's political chessboard, where Plan B could either destabilize or galvanize the nation's democracy. Public reaction and media silence. The public and media response to Plan B would be pivotal in shaping its impact. This section explores how Zambians and the media might react, including the possibility of media silence. Public reaction. Zambia's diverse populace, spanning urban elites, rural farmers, and mining communities, would react to Plan B based on political affiliations, economic conditions, and trust in institutions. PF supporters, loyalists, particularly in PF strongholds, might rally behind Lungu, viewing the leak as a smear campaign by UPND. They could mobilize protests or social media campaigns to defend him. UPND supporters. Hichilema's base would likely demand accountability, urging the government to act decisively against PF leaders implicated in the plan. Neutral citizens. The majority, struggling with economic challenges, might view Plan B with skepticism, focusing on immediate concerns like food prices or jobs unless the plan directly threatens stability. Social media platforms like X would amplify these reactions, with hashtags, memes, and debates shaping public discourse. Urban youth, a key demographic, could drive online campaigns either supporting or condemning the plan. Media dynamics. Zambia's media landscape is diverse but polarized. Independent media, outlets like News Diggers and The Masked, would likely investigate the leaked documents, publishing exposés to inform the public. Their coverage could pressure the government to act. State media. Under UPND control, media like ZNBC might frame Plan B as a threat to national security, rallying support for Hichilema. PF-aligned media, outlets sympathetic to Lungu, could downplay the leak, spreading counter-narratives or alleging fabrication. Media silence. The possibility of media silence is concerning. Government censorship. If UPND perceives the leak as destabilizing, it might pressure media to limit coverage, citing national security. Self-censorship. Media outlets, fearing legal or financial repercussions, might avoid in-depth reporting, especially if powerful international actors are implicated. International media. Global outlets might overlook the story if it lacks immediate geopolitical significance, focusing instead on larger crises. Factors influencing response. Economic context. High inflation and unemployment could amplify public anger, making Plan B a rallying point for discontent. Trust in institutions. Low trust in the judiciary or ECZ might fuel skepticism about the leak's authenticity. Civil society. NGOs and churches could amplify the issue, demanding transparency and accountability. The public and media response would determine whether Plan B becomes a national crisis or a fleeting controversy, influencing its chances of success. Could Plan B succeed? The success of Plan B depends on multiple factors, including its execution, public support, institutional control, and international backing. This section evaluates its feasibility. Factors favoring success. PF's organizational strength. Despite its 2021 loss, the PF retains a loyal base and organizational structure capable of mobilizing supporters. Economic discontent. Zambia's economic challenges, high debt, inflation, and unemployment could fuel public frustration, making Plan B appealing to those disillusioned with UPND. Institutional infiltration. Lungu's influence over the judiciary, security forces, or ECZ could enable manipulation of legal or electoral processes. International support. Backing from foreign actors such as China or private entities could provide resources to sustain the plan. Media manipulation. Effective propaganda could sway public opinion, framing Lungu as a victim or savior. Factors hindering success. UPND's vigilance. Hichilema's government has prioritized anti-corruption and institutional institutional reforms, making it harder for PF to operate covertly. Public fatigue. Zambians' desire for stability after years of economic hardship might limit support for destabilizing tactics. International scrutiny. Western powers and organizations like the IMF would likely oppose any plan threatening Zambia's democracy, imposing sanctions or withholding aid. Legal accountability. Ongoing investigations into Lungu's associates for corruption could neutralize key operatives. Media exposure. Independent media and civil society could expose the plan, galvanizing opposition. Scenarios for success or failure. Success scenario. Plan B succeeds if Lungu secures significant funding, mobilizes widespread protests, and manipulates key institutions to regain power or destabilize UPND. For example, a rigged by-election or judicial ruling in PF's favor could pave the way for Lungu's return. Failure scenario. The plan fails if the leaked documents lead to swift government action, public backlash, or international condemnation. Arrests of PF leaders, coupled with UPND's effective communication, could dismantle the plan. Probability assessment. Given Zambia's democratic resilience, public demand for accountability, and Hichilema's international support, Plan B faces significant hurdles. Its success would require exceptional coordination, secrecy, and external backing, which seem unlikely given UPND's vigilance and the global spotlight on Zambia's reforms. Final analysis and closing. The revelation of Lungu's secret Plan B would mark a critical juncture in Zambia's political history, testing its democratic institutions, societal cohesion, and international standing. This final section synthesizes the analysis and offers closing reflections. Synthesis. Nature of the plan. Plan B represents a hypothetical attempt by Lungu to subvert Zambia's democracy, leveraging political, economic, and international strategies to regain influence. Leaked documents. The document's exposure would catalyze a crisis, forcing actors to respond and revealing the extent of PF's influence. International links. Foreign involvement, while plausible, complicates the plan's execution and risks diplomatic fallout. Political chessboard. Zambia's polarized landscape makes Plan B a high-stakes gamble, with UPND's response critical to its outcome. Public and media. Public reaction and media coverage would shape the narrative, with silence posing a risk to transparency. Feasibility. The plan's success is unlikely but not impossible, depending on PF's resources, public sentiment, and institutional control. Broader implications. Democratic resilience. Zambia's ability to counter Plan B would reinforce its status as a democratic model, but failure could signal backsliding. Regional impact. Instability in Zambia could affect SADC, emboldening authoritarian leaders elsewhere. Global context. The plan highlights the interplay of domestic politics and international interests, with implications for Zambia's debt restructuring and foreign relations. Closing reflections. The idea of Plan B underscores the fragility of democratic transitions in Africa, where former leaders often seek to cling to power. Zambia's response, through robust institutions, active civil society, and transparent media, will determine whether it remains a beacon of hope or succumbs to political intrigue. The international community, particularly democratic powers, must support Zambia's efforts to uphold the rule of law and ensure accountability. In conclusion, while Plan B remains speculative, its exploration reveals the challenges and opportunities facing Zambia's democracy. The nation's future hinges on its ability to navigate these turbulent waters with resilience, transparency, and a commitment to the will of its people.